Hello everyone. This is a Bravo match versus a new outsider Katsu build. I'm playing against my brother, who was also in Bologna. He was 12th, so just missed top 8. And Katsu is his main hero, but since Katsu was really bad in the previous meta, he played Fi. So now we're giving Katsu a new opportunity. And I would like to show how the same list, because Bravo didn't get any good cards from outsiders or in Dynasty. But let's see how Bravo can match up against new Katsu. So I have this Katsu sideboard guide, and yeah, let's go. So we're going first. In this matchup I usually like to go second, but this hand is pretty good, so I can't really complain, since we can get off a nice dominated chokeslam turn 0. So this is a guaranteed damage, and it reduces buffs. So okay, so no crush effect because there is a D react, but we still push 3 damage and 1 D react less. He's playing 3 for sure, maybe 6. Let's see what Katsu does. So Kodachi for 1. Surging Strike. So Katsu is a bit tricky to play around, but I think this Surging Strike is fine. Yeah, let this one go through, because we have to block Whelming Gustave either way. Oh, it's a Descendant Gustave, because yeah, Mask Trigger is already on this chain link. What to do? So our turn should be pretty obvious with this card in hand. So just thinking, is it more important to prevent Mask Trigger and swing Hammer or not? I think it's okay if we full block this way. If he breaks scales now, it gives us more flexibility in the late game with our armor. So let's see, will he break it for a draw? He won't. So he did Arsenal a card, and I hope it's not a defense reaction, because we are going to go for a Terra Sunder. And if it's a not D react, he can't block the on hit effect to discard 2 cards, and we should be pretty fine then. If he has a D react, he has to give us a 3 block and play off a 3 card hand, which isn't bad in Katsu. It's just a matter of how many D reacts does he have, and also our card in Arsenal isn't particularly useful, so we will use Crown of Providence to filter it when it's necessary. So far it's not hurting us that much. So here we see in this card 100 Winds and Ancestral Empowerment. I'm not sure yet what that tells us. Spinning Wheel Kick, pitching an Art of War, so this is not the scariest turn. So I think we pass here and see what will he do with his last card. Kodachi with no go again, so we obviously don't block this because it's missed value. So let's take advantage of 5 card hand in Bravo. So what can we actually do here? We have 2 opportunities. So if we go for Terra Sunder again, we obviously waste a card. I mean, we can pitch it for a search token. He did Arsenal a card, so my first impression is that that card is a defense reaction, but I could be wrong because he could not have used mask last turn because he had a 1 cost in pitch. So the other opportunity is to play blue chokeslam with pummel, which is 10 damage and pushes a pretty good on hit. And the third option is to play Thunderquake from Arsenal, again with pummel, but that way we get the Seismic Surge token. And we have cards in our deck that like Seismic Surge tokens, and also this Thunderquake in Arsenal is kinda stuck. So I'm thinking between 2 damage or chokeslam effect, and I actually think that Thunderquake is better, or that Seismic Surge is better in this position, because we have 2 more chokeslam in deck, 3 crippling crushes, which we would like to play of 1 card or 2 cards respectively. And this way we also get rid of 1 card from hand and push 12 damage if he doesn't block. Okay, Bonds of Ancestry. Okay, so 9 damage, and this card is Surging Strike. How do you want to... I mean, this matchup never gets to the second cycle, so we're fine with this. Okay, not the greatest hand from our part. Yeah, not really good. We have a defense reaction to cover this Lectap, so that's alright. We'll see what's at the top of our deck. So in these situations, in Bravo you always want blue cards to pitch for your big stuff, but you don't need blue cards if you don't see your big stuff. So that's why we almost always put our blue cards on the bottom of our deck. Fluster Fist, so it's just 4 damage, and yeah, I see no value in blocking with this card right now. So just a simple turn for us, create a new Seismic for next turn maybe, and play a Command and Conquer, which is a pretty good card in this matchup. Nothing much to be said here, because he still has... Oh, okay, so a big turn incoming. I guess Mask of Momentum isn't that powerful because we still have a lot of armor left. And Dishonor is a blue, so he has another blue. I think it's fine if we start using our armor a bit. Although I do... Okay, so that's not good for us, because now here comes the Overwhelming Gustody, which should be respected now. It can be buffed to 5, and it most certainly will be if you block only 4, because he still has 1 resource left. So we also have here 2 options for our next turn. So I can either block with these 2 cards to block 6 and then repeat the last turn, or we can block 5 with a Cranial Crush and more equipment and then swing Chokeslam. And I like that a bit better because first of all it's 80 damage of 2 cards, but we also keep Command in Arsenal for next turn. So 1 Kodachi left, and yeah, because of a Seismic Surge we play Chokeslam off of 1 card, and that's the big power spike turn, because it's a relevant on hit in this matchup, and presenting 8 damage is also pretty good. And there was, I guess, a sort of a cheese line to block with the Chokeslam rather than Cranial Crush, and then on my turn create a seismic with tectonic plating, pitching that cranial, play command and conquer, and hope he blocks 6, and then play lunging press to destroy the arsenal, which maybe should have been the best play because his card is, yes, a defense reaction almost certainly, so this might be a slight misplay because that was a defense reaction, so I could have destroyed it. Yeah, cards lined up pretty good because we have a sink below for his another leg tap. Nothing to see from this Kodachi. We also let this one through because we want to block with this card. Yeah, we definitely want to block either way because our goal for next turn is play Command and Conquer, pitching Grandeur to create 2 seismics, and then play the big attack next turn. So it feels dumb, but it is what it is. If we had a seismic surge from last turn, this would be insane with that blue. So in hindsight, last turn would be a lot better if we went for Command and Conquer plus lunging press, because it would destroy the defense reaction, and we would have a seismic for our crippling crush this turn. But this way, this is just plain 6 damage, so we have to hope for a weak turn here, because if we manage to survive this turn with a healthy amount of life, then crippling crush from Arsenal with 2 blues will swing tempo back in our favor. So let's see what can a Katsu do here. Only 4 cards though, with no mask and no tunic, so these Kodachis are 1 vanilla damage, unless he plays Soul the Wound, but I highly doubt that the new Katsus have room for that. Another Kodachi, that's another 1 damage, so 2 resources for 2 damage, not the strongest. 100 wins for 3. So here again we have a big thing, because we have 2 seismic surges. On next turn we can play crippling crush and create a seismic surge, which makes another crippling crush also come off 2 blues. Unfortunately we don't have another 3 block in hand, so I don't know if we should block this 100 wins, because it's not presenting any relevant on hits. We can just let this damage through. He can search off another 100 wins. Descendant Gust Wave. Okay, so that grabs Bonds, and then Bonds will probably go for Dishonor. So that's 3, 4, 4, so 11 more damage. Yes, I think it sucks, but I think we have to block with a Pummel. I'm thinking if I should block with Crippling Crush and maybe save Pummel for next turn on any attack, but I think Crippling Crush of 2 cards is strong enough, so I'm just gonna let this one go through as well. Bone of Ancestry for 4. We also take that. Oh, yeah, sure. And then Dishonor. There was no surging line. I'm thinking if I should have, because we have Crippling Crush for yeah, we can I think this is the correct play, and yeah, since I already committed to it, there's no point in changing my mind, because Crippling Crush costs 5, we can dominate it with 2 blues and a red. That way we don't get a seismic for next turn, and I don't think... maybe we'll need it, but I think it's better to... I don't know, it's Dominate Crippling Crush. I think it... when it can be played, I think it should be played, because no arsenal. And since we saw Flick Flack, so one Flick Flack, one Sink Below, that probably means he has at least 3 D-reacts left, most probably 4, so he should be drawing into them. Yeah, so we play Crippling Crush, but the thing is, which card do we pitch? And I think it's better to get rid of the Pummel. If he blocked 3 on the 100 wins, it wouldn't change a lot, because he still has breaking skills left. But this 80 damage is really good, and we discarded Spinning Wheel Kick and Flick Flack, so we like to see Flick Flack discarded. He could have prevented 1 more damage with it, or he hoped for it to not get discarded. But if we dominate a Crippling Crush again, which we can, he can't prevent a non-hit unless he has a D-react in hand and a D-react in arsenal. Our other line here can be... actually, it might be better, because we can go for Rouse the Ancients for 7 damage and then Crush the Weak for another 7, so that's 14 damage. He has to block... he has to block with 9 life, so... if we dominate a Crippling and he has 2 D-reacts, I think that's our lose con, if he can stop our dominated Crippling. So I think it's better to go for the damage. I may be playing suboptimally. I'm not used to playing on Talishar and commentating at the same time. It's much easier for me to play with physical cards. And now, even if he has another D-react in arsenal... oh, okay, Flick Flack is... Flick Flack has another effect, which is not usually seen in Bravo matchups. Okay, so that was the punish, and this leg tab is coming from arsenal, so our dominated Crippling Crush would be game. But here we are. Let's block 4 like this, so all 3 leg tabs are gone. Clutch for 1, that is 1 damage. We also let this, and Stab Wound. So this has to be blocked, and Crown of Providence will solve that issue for us. And no, we like our cards, because this turn, this is the classic Bravo, make a Seismic, play Spinal Crush, and next turn we have a Crippling Crush in arsenal. So next turn, if we draw 2 blues, we should be fine. This is also good. Okay, so he decides to knock a card out of our hand. And do we care? Well, not really. It's a bit unfortunate we don't have a third blue to dominate this Crippling Crush. But this is basically over, because he has to give us the whole hand. Oh, okay, so this should be game. So this is a pretty funny hand. So yeah, this is the game against Katsu, and we started strong with the dominated chokes on turn 0, and you can see that there are a few different lines to take. So the Pummel on Thunderkick from arsenal, or a blue chokeslam from hand. That's the first thing. The second thing is playing Command and Conquer with Lunging Press to get rid of defense reaction, or playing regular chokeslam from hand off of 1 blue. So there are a few options. We can see from these stats on the right, I don't know how important they are. We got 13.2 value per turn, and yeah, I don't know what to tell you from this. as well. We have our average cards left over turn 0, so that's nice, I guess. You can also see we had only one Anodos activation, that's with Terra Sunder. In this matchup you obviously don't want to swing Anodos all that much, unless you have a what's it called, the Fable, the Grandeur. And the Grandeur also, as you saw, created 2 Seismic Surges, and we were able to dominate a Crippling Rush with 2 blues and a red. So yeah, that's another good thing about Grandeur. It enables plays like that.